अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त कर्मबन्धविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानप्रदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। नामस्मरणम्। जगदेकरञ्जनी जीवनदायिनी जगदेकरञ्जनी जगदेकरञ्जनी जीवनदायिनी जीवनदायिनी जन्मप्रदायिनी जन्मप्रदायिनी जय शिवरूपिणी जय शिवरूपिणी जगदेकरञ्जनी जीवनदायिनी जीवनदायिनी जन्मप्रदायिनी जन्मप्रदायिनी जय शिवरूपिणी जय शिवरूपिणी ज्वरभयहारिणी ज्वरभयहारिणी ज्वालारूपिणी ज्वालारूपिणी ज्वरभयहारिणी ज्वरभयहारिणी ज्वालारूपिणी ज्वालारूपिणी जितमनमोहिनी जितमनमोहिनी जय शिवभागिनी जय शिवभागिनी जितमनमोहिनी जितमनमोहिनी जय शिवभागिनी जय शिवभागिनी ज्वरभयहारिणी ज्वालारूपिणी जितमनमोहिनी जय शिवभागिनी जय शिवभागिनी जगदेकरञ्जनी जीवनदायिनी जीवनदायिनी जंगमस्थावर जंगमस्थावर जगत्परिपालिनी जगत्परिपालिनी जगत्योनि जननी जगत्योनि जननी जंजनतारिणी जंजनतारिणी जंगमस्थावर जंगमस्थावर जगत्परिपालिनी जगत्परिपालिनी जगत्योनि जननी जगत्योनि जननी जंजनतारिणी जंजनतारिणी जगन्नाथगामिनी जगन्नाथगामिनी जगज्योतिरूपिणी जगज्योतिरूपिणी जगन्नाथगामिनी जगन्नाथगामिनी जगज्योतिरूपिणी जगज्योतिरूपिणी जगद्योनि जननी जंजनतारिणी जंजनतारिणी जंगमस्थावर जगत्परिपालिनी जगत्परिपालिनी ज्वरभयहारिणी ज्वालारूपिणी जितमनमोहिनी जय शिवभागिनी जन्मप्रदायिनी जय शिवरूपिणी जगदेकरञ्जनी जीवनदायिनी जीवनदायिनी जय शिवरूपिणी हरिः ओम। Learning through relationship or learning through relationships. It is through relationships that we learn to express our love and also receive love from others. It is only through relationships it is possible for us to exchange and express our feelings of love and various other kinds of our feelings. And also, it is only through relationship that it is possible for us to receive the love, which makes us more complete, more fulfilled, more contented, and which keeps us more at ease with everything in our life. When we receive love from various sources, and when we experience this love, which is the actual energy for us to live, survive, work, grow and evolve, this love is received from other sources through relationship. So, relationship is a very important aspect in our lives. It is through relationship that we learn to forgive, which is another important quality of our life, which does a lot of good to us, which removes a lot of burden that we carry in our minds, which removes the stress and strain that we experience, because we tend to carry certain psychological and emotional reactions in our mind, which are mostly based upon our own beliefs, our own incorrect thinking styles. So we tend to carry these things and burden ourselves. So such heaviness is removed from our life when we learn the art of forgiving others. We learn this forgiving only through relationships. It is only when we have the opportunity to experience certain things which tend to create many reactions in us, and then when we learn this art of forgiving, and then when we forgive, we come to experience a tremendous growth in ourselves. All this is possible only when there is a relationship. It is through relationship that we learn to help and to serve. When we help someone, it is a great fulfilling experience for us that we were instrumental, we were utilized for the betterment of someone. We were responsible for giving something to the other which the other did not have at that particular point of time. So it gives us a great feeling that we are very useful, and then we are being utilized, and we also come to understand that we also come to function as an instrument in the hands of the divine. So when we are able to help someone, we feel very good about ourselves, and when we serve, the attitude of service itself is a great purifier of our mind. Whether the other person actually wants our service or not, but when we have this reverential feeling of serving the other, then that feeling, that attitude will purify us. That attitude will create such healthy feelings in us. It purifies our energy. It makes us feel very peaceful with ourselves. Because this reverential feeling, this attitude of service will not only connect us to the very healthy divine energies that are there in the creation, but also will divinize us to a greater extent, because God continuously serves all of us. So this service is another great quality, which we come to experience only through relationships. So relationships have many things to give to us, provided we should be ready to learn from these relationships. Because there is every possibility for us to react in the process of our encounters and interactions in these relationships. So instead of reacting, or instead of trying to control the outcomes, or in other words controlling, if we tune ourselves to learning then every encounter, every interaction will become a guide to us, will become a source of learning to us, that we need not go anywhere to learn the lessons, very important lessons of our life. Our own experiences, through our own interactions and involvements in these relationships, will teach us all that is necessary for us to live a life of comfort and perfection. So relationships play a very important role in our lives. Another important thing about relationships is our important and very precious and valuable experiences of our life are gained only through relationships. Whether it is a relationship with the objects around us, or the people around us, the situations, or various kinds of relationships, including the nature, the God, the various other celestial beings, so on and so forth. So relationship is a very important thing in our life. We have to learn a lot through relationships. Our life experiences that are more difficult, very challenging, most fulfilling, loving, all these things arise in our relationships. Actually, when we face a challenge and when we look at the challenge, and then when we gather the necessary wisdom and courage, and then face the challenge with a lot of firmness and steadiness in our mind, and then when we overcome the challenge, the strength that we gain after that is so immense and so powerful that the life becomes very smooth and life becomes very easy in spite of the tough situations that we encounter. So this is possible only through relationship. When we face difficult situations, and then when we overcome these difficult situations, the confidence that arises in us, the strength that arises in us is immensely very powerful. Not only that, most fulfilling experiences in our life arise out of our relationships. Whether it can be a relationship with our beloved, or it can be a relationship with the most needy and poor, or it can be a relationship with the most divine being in this entire creation. Relationships always teach us something, provided we should be ready to learn. Someone said, relationships are not measured in time, but in lessons learned. Normally we tend to measure relationships in time. Since how long you and I are connected, since how long you and I are related, at this particular day, such a lucky day it was, my whole fortune of life changed, so I celebrate every year that particular day. Whether I want it or not, I celebrate. So, such remembrances are connected with time, the span of time. We always count like this. We measure our relationships in time. And in some places, in some parts of the world, they really get surprised when they look at this country. Relationship still surviving? Such a long time? Because they also measure in time only. Still surviving? It's a wonder. After 1 or 2 years, still surviving? So, relationships mostly are measured in time. But it is said that they are not measured in time, but they are measured by the lessons learned. What is the lesson that we have learned? Even relationship as an individual soul inside the body, with the situation, with the people. What the body has got to teach to us at a particular stage in our life by giving us a particular experience. how it is connected with various other things in our life. What are the lessons that we have to learn? It is not possible for us to keep our body in a fit condition at every moment of our life. It goes according to its own things. We can try, but still it has its own ways. But what it has got to teach to us? There is something. Everything that we get connected with has something to teach to us. That is why it is said, learning through relationships. And often, most important lessons of our life arise out of most difficult situations. When the situations are very difficult, very tough, almost looking impossible, at such moments we feel why we are in such a situation, and we feel that we are weak, we are powerless, we do not have any strength to face such a difficult situation, most difficult situation, and we tend to think negatively. And also there are few who think that they don't have any more hope in life and there is no point of continuing to live, and they start thinking many more things in that line and finally commit something which is very foolish. All this happens when we believe that we do not have enough strength inside us to face this difficult situation. When we believe like that, nothing inside us will really come to our rescue, because we create a screen, we block all the inner energies from manifesting from within. With this thought screen, we only block. And then we look around and then wait for some help, which also may not come, because we are blocking the energies inside which correspond to the various other energies that take care of the whole creation and functioning of this existence outside. So we block outer help also. By our own thoughts, we block. We don't see anything that is really helping even in the outside world. We don't connect ourselves to such things. Why? Because we block ourselves. So we create these blocks. But if we understand that instead of creating such blocks, if we are ready, even in the most difficult situations, to learn something, if we consider these difficult situations as teachers, then the moment we relate with the difficult situation as a teacher, it immediately changes its stand. Because we change our attitude, we change our way of looking at that, so we tend to gain something else instead of something which is more disturbing and agonizing. No more the situation, difficult situation will create agony, but it will create something else, and understanding is created. When we don't look at it in this manner, we feel agonized, we feel terrible pain in that situation, very miserable pain. We don't know how to come out of it because we don't see anything other than that. We feel we are engulfed by that. We feel we are surrounded by that, we are drowned in it. It is at that time we need to create a different type of relationship with the same thing. An attitude has to be changed. Our conduct has to be changed. When we change our conduct and our attitude, then our experience will change, our outlook will change. Our levels of perception also will change. Our experience will totally be different. So, most important lessons arise out of most difficult situations. And when we allow them to teach, they teach us values, they teach us love, they teach us the right priorities that we should have in life. In fact, when we do not pay attention to these right priorities and we tend to get into the selection of wrong things because our priorities will not be proper and correct, because of that we tend to experience more misery and suffering and agony and pain in our life. And then we come to blame the relationships for all the suffering that we undergo. But actually, if we change our way of looking at these relationships, then we become students who always have to learn something, always they have got something to learn. That learning inspires us. That learning invigorates us. That learning energizes us. When we learn something, see, when there is a situation, when we treat it as a difficult situation and then it is full of misery, agony and pain and we see only gloom in that, then we tend to become more weaker. But if we see something else, if we think that it has got something to teach to us, because it has come from the God's loving divine hands. Without that divine hands, it would not have happened in our life. If we learn that way, if we understand it that way, then suddenly there is a hope, suddenly something brightens up, suddenly there is a light at the other end, suddenly through the darkness we see a ray of hope and ray of light. No doubt it is all dark all around us, but still we see a ray of light. That is enough. A small spark of light, a ray of light is enough to create whole effulgence all around us, sooner or later. So this becomes very important thing in our lives. So anything that the relationships give us, including some forced limitations upon us, they also have something for us to learn, something to teach. It is said that all of our agonies, let us understand this very clearly. When we face terrible situations in our life, all because of relationships, we feel very lonely, we feel lost, we feel helpless, and at such times, we should remember certain words of wisdom which are born out of rich life's experiences. One Mahatma says, all of our agonies are lessons in long-term school for wisdom and perfection. We are in a school, and that is not a short-term crash course school, a long-term school for wisdom and perfection. So, what is the content of teaching? Agony. What is the experience? Pain. How we are taught? Through misery. Now please see, that also is a teacher. Happiness also is a teacher. Joy also is a teacher. But this also is a teacher. Because we accept joy, we accept happiness, we accept peace, we accept pleasure, but we immediately run away from these things. We feel something negative is happening in our life. We don't even face, we don't even look at it. We immediately conclude something because of our own self-created beliefs and then fall a prey to it. Instead of facing the situation, we get drowned in an ocean of misery. That is why we should have a different outlook, different understanding. So, we are in a long-term school for wisdom and perfection. And the lessons that are learnt are agony, misery and pain. And these experiences are the teachers. The source of these experiences is a relationship. Okay, relationship is the founder member of that school or the principal. And the teachers are these things. Various other experiences. The content of the teaching, probably agony, misery. That also. But we learn something which will enhance our wisdom and lead us into perfection. So, when we are not ready to face an agonizing experience that is born out of a relationship, that is gifted by a relationship, free gifts, that is gifted by a relationship, if we are not facing it, we are missing an opportunity to enhance our wisdom and to go ahead in the path of our perfection. We are missing it. Instead of seeing it as totally dark, negative, source of trouble, if we can see it as a source of wisdom and perfection, what a change it is. Just think of it. If we know that a relationship is giving us some sort of disturbance and which is very painful, at that moment, instead of reacting, instead of getting into violence, instead of getting into our past habits, which are very repetitive and which have made us get into this misery again and again, the pits of suffering again and again, instead of that, if you look at it, hey, it is a source of wisdom and perfection. At least if this thought happens at that moment, that's enough. Our attitude will change, our conduct will change, our behavior will change, our experience will change. If at that moment if we change, our thinking, everything else will change. That is very important thing in our life. It is said, all pain and limitation have an educative purpose. They have an educative purpose. They have to educate us. They teach us something, provided we learn something. Every interaction that we have with others is very important, because we are very wise in our financial dealings, in our various other things that are connected with pleasures, how to gain the objects, where to get these objects, how to deal with these transactions, various other things. But when it is connected with people, we are somewhere missing that attitude which will make us get tuned and connected to a very rich source of wisdom and perfection. So, every interaction we have with others is a reflection of our own beliefs about ourselves. If we understand it in this manner, there is so much to learn. Every interaction that we have with others is a reflection of our own beliefs about ourselves. We have certain beliefs about ourselves. Let us analyze this more, which is a very important point. Let us go more deeper into this. Because we are given certain things by the structure of the society around us, by the nature of the people around us, by the things that surround us. We are given certain things. We are made to believe certain things. Because we are constantly told to look at ourselves through the eyes of the other. Ever since we are a child, we are taught this. We feel worthy when only others attribute that worthiness to us. Please understand this. We feel worthy only when others attribute worthiness to us, which is based upon their analysis, their interpretation, which is born out of their experience, which is connected with their knowledge and their wisdom. So, our worthiness, we feel worthy only when others give this worthiness to us. That is why we depend so much upon the other. We feel worthy when we have worthy things, of course. Valuable things, of course. That is a natural thing. When there is more property, more money, more precious things, more valuable things, more shares which have got high value, more stocks, more debentures, more ventures, and finally more dentures. So, when we have these things, we feel very valuable. And when we are connected with people of high class society or who have lot of power in the society, who have lot of influence in the society, we feel we are worthy, very worthy. And then we depend upon them for this worth, because others look at us and then we say, see, I am connected with, see. We don't say, look at me, because there is nothing inside. According to our own belief, our own belief. If we are given the right knowledge, there is everything inside. Everything is inside. If we are given the right knowledge, according to the right scripture, by the right person, in the right way, everything is in us. The whole creation is in us. But that we are not told, that we are never taught, and that we are not ready to learn also. Because again, that to learn that also, we have got a worthy table, a table of worthiness. Hey, learning this, you are not worthy. All these things you learn, you are not worthy. So, when we are told like this, now at this age, only when you are ready to drown into, at that time you have to pay attention on these things. This is all useless, trash. It is useless trash. So when this is taught to us, then what it will be? Then we will look at all other things which are really not worthy when compared to this. And they have no worth without this. But we leave this, and for our worth, we catch hold of that. Very interesting calculation. And finally we end up with problem. We end up with trouble. Today, round the globe, you go and attend any important session that is conducted by any person round the globe, that is connected with counseling or repairing relationship or improving relationship or creating stress-free life or this or that and this and that and that and that. They tell so many things. And finally they end up with one thing. The whole world is full of love, and that love is born out of something which is very cosmic in presence and cosmic in existence, and that is only one, and that is beyond all this, that. And finally there only they will end up. But they will tell it in the end, because they don't know totally. But here, one of the most luckiest things, whether we understand or not, whether we are ready or not, most luckiest things being born in India is, everybody is a philosopher. Meaning we are surrounded by philosophers who constantly tell that everything is temporary and there is one thing which is eternal. Whether we understand it or not, whether we know it or not, accept it or not, grasp it or not, we are constantly surrounded by this. That is a great benefit. Being born itself is a great benefit. And when we slowly understand through the scientific methods, slowly, that a particular place has its own energy level, things in that particular place have their own energy levels, and through science they prove that, this place has more energy than that place, this place aura has more divinity than other place, and a few miles above the sky, into this space, there is a particular type of energy in this particular place. When science tells this, when so many people who are trying to understand the various things that are there in this universe like this, when they publish books, when they take some photographs, and then they have an autograph on it, and then they publish this, then say, really all this matters? In matter it matters. Because it is created like that. There is so much for us to understand. That is why when somebody says that it is really very fortunate to be in certain places, it is not an empty statement. Only thing is we may not understand that. That doesn't take away the worthiness of that particular place. So finally, coming back to our worth. So we feel worthy only when others tell us. And when we depended upon this, they installed, like in computer, installing computer, they installed so many things and programmed us. So many programs. So after that, on the desktop what you have, your programs are ready. So you can go only through the program and then gain the experience or learn something or do whatever we want to do. Only through that program. It is programmed. If you want something else which is not there in it, you have to program it again. So we are programmed by certain things that are there around us. All these are relationships only. So at particular point in our life, or at some stages in our life, or few people in their lives, when they believe, or for example, it becomes more easy for us to understand. If we believe that we are unloved, this is one of the major complaints in our life, isn't it? We want love. The actual thing is we are beings of love. When we get disconnected with the source of love, we become hungry and go crazy for love outside. That is the most important thing. But of course we are getting that love, so we go ahead. That's fine. See, when we believe that we are unloved and we are unimportant, sometimes it happens to us. Even when our own near and dear close people may give us this feeling, may generate this feeling inside us by their attitude and their by way of behavior. It is possible. Suddenly we feel we are unloved. Whole life we might have lived with that person, but suddenly we can feel we are unloved, we are unimportant. Suddenly, hey, what happened? This person behaved like this. I feel unimportant. Now why should I? Unimportant, unloved. Then we come to believe we are inadequate. Inadequate. And we are not enough. Insufficient. See this, these are the feelings that happen because of others' behavior. Please see this, please understand. When we believe that we are unloved, we believe, that's all, we are unloved. Sometimes we believe nobody loves. There are people, so many people we can come across, if they really open up, nobody really loves me. I love so much, but nobody loves me. People want love. They want attention. Love is very much necessary. But love grows in us, love gives joy to us when we give. But that is forgotten. What is understood? What to get, how to get, when to get, where to get. And then forget. That is why people reject and eject out of the relationship. And then we get into a jet and land up in misery. So we believe that we are unloved, unimportant, inadequate, insufficient, not enough. Now please see this. When we believe like this, these are the beliefs. When we believe, then we take others' cold behavior or judgmental behavior very personal. Suppose others are cold, not warm, not encouraging, not affectionate, not having that inspired attitude towards us. When others are cold and others are judgmental, whether they have qualification to become a judge or not, but everyone around us is judgmental. Judgmental. So, most of us are judgmental. Without qualification, we become the judge and mental only, but judgmental. So when we see this, judgmental, because people are judging constantly and expressing their judgments, announcing their judgment, proclaiming their judgment. Nobody is ready to receive, but they proclaim judgments. Constantly people are judging us. Whether they are worthy or not, they are judging us. And then that is affecting our worthiness about ourselves, our feeling of worth about ourselves. So, with these beliefs in us, when we see others cold and judgmental behavior, we take it very personal. We take it personal. But their nature might be cold, maybe they are coming from a cold place, who knows? Or they are having cold, suffering with or suffering from or suffering along cold, whatever it is. So then what happens? They're judgmental. Constantly judging and expressing their judgments. And see, now please understand, this is a very important thing in our life. We might be wise in so many things in life, including Vedanta. But still, we miss something here, in this calculation, in this understanding about relationships. And that creates a lot of pain. We know what is Atma, but still we are suffering. Right? No means what? Intellectually we know. And that gave us a relief for some time, as long as we thought about it. But afterwards we left it. And then afterwards, it left us. If we know what is right, then what is to be left, then we will really gain a lot of peace in life. If you know what is right, then we will know what is to be left. Otherwise, left, right. And we get left, right. Left and right. So when we have these beliefs, and when somebody is cold and judgmental, then please understand, this is a very important thing. We all have undergone this. Maybe undergoing this. Maybe will undergo or may undergo. But see this. When we have these beliefs, what are these beliefs? That we are unloved, that we are unimportant, we are inadequate, we are insufficient, we are not enough. And then we face others' cold behavior, judgmental behavior. We can't expect everybody to be warm around us, even though it is very hot. But still, we can't expect people to be warm with affection around us. There are so many people who are cold also, who are dull also. We find such people. So, when we have these beliefs, I am stressing it again and again because we undergo these experiences. That's why. When we have these beliefs, and when we face such people around, who are cold and judgmental, then what happens is, we react with anger, number 1, resentment, number 2, hurt, number 3, withdrawal, number 4. See, in our relationships, there are many occasions when we feel hurt. We say, you have hurt me, your behavior hurt me, your comment hurt me, your active involvement hurt me, your non-involvement hurt me, your look hurt me, your no look hurt me. This is a very peculiar situation. Somebody looks at us, we are hurt, and somebody is not looking at us, we are hurt. Same person sometimes looking at us, we are hurt, not looking at us, we are hurt. What is this? You are hurting. Right? Simple hurt, grievous hurt. Hurting. You hurt me. And we get into anger. We feel so angry. Why? Somebody is cold and somebody is judgmental. We are angry. Somebody is not responsive and expressing in spite of our interaction. We feel angry. We get into anger. Resentment. We carry that resentment. That person behaved like this, and then see, I will also think why this. I think this. But we carry that resentment. I don't think it. See that anger, resentment. Are we not experiencing these things in our relationship? We are experiencing. Hurt, and then withdraw. Third, I will never look at this person's face. I'm not at all interested in. Withdraw. Temporary withdrawal, permanent withdrawal, eternal withdrawal. We withdraw. And then we go into a corner and then stay there. So many times this happens. Children do that more often. Elders also do, but they don't tell. That is the only difference. Children, when they do that, they sit in a corner. But that is outside, so we can understand that they are withdrawn. But here, when elders do that, they sit mentally in a corner. Outside they are normal, but inside they sit in a corner, dark corner, pitch dark. So how to understand? They don't come out, we can't bring them out. No light enters inside, and there is no light inside. So what happens? They suffer, and we also suffer. And they become cold, and we see their cold behavior, and their coldness is because of somebody else's cold. That is why somebody's cold is very infectious. Common cold. This is a common cold. So it can affect anybody. And when doctor doesn't understand, it's a viral. So this common cold is common with people. It goes on affecting. What to do? We have to carry some hand key or napkin. Leaving our kith and kin, we carry napkin. Because we are cold. Instead we were bold, the cold will not stay. Bold to look at ourselves, not bold to blast others. So, the important thing, what we have to learn here is, we have to look into ourselves. Look at ourselves. See, we feel happy, we withdraw. We are withdrawn. And then when we withdraw, we don't interact. When we don't interact, there is no possibility of solving that problem with that particular relationship. Impossible. It is not solved. Either the relationship is dissolved or absolved, or we pass a resolution. It is resolved that we no more have any contact with the person. Unanimously resolved. When we are withdrawn, no possibility of any improvement. But there is a pain. We are suffering. Withdrawn, we are not withdrawn from the actual problem, but we are withdrawn from the illusory relationship. Problem remains, suffering continues. Come on. When we don't talk with people, when we shut our connection with people, we withdraw from that relationship. Suffering continues. Complaints continue. We share with others the same suffering. Are you getting along well with the person? No, I am withdrawn. But why are you suffering? But that I have withdrawn from the relationship. Like a bank withdrawal. I have withdrawn from the person, but I have withdrawn suffering from that relationship, which is continuing. When I withdraw something from the bank, it continues with me. So I have withdrawn, but withdrawn. See that? I withdraw this. That is the fund that is available. I withdraw this and I continue. There are many people who are withdrawn from relationship, but still suffering continues. Very peculiar. If we are withdrawn, we should be withdrawn. But why suffering continues? Because we are not really withdrawn. Pain is there. Suffering is there. That is why it is said, when we withdraw, pain still continues. When we react, pain continues. Anger, there is pain. Anger, there is pain. Hurt, there is pain. Resentment, there is pain. Who is happy who is carrying resentment? Is there anybody who is carrying resentment happy? No. There is pain inside. There is disturbance. There is so much of agony inside. Why? Reaction. Because of what? Somebody's behavior. Now see this. Somebody behaved in some particular manner because of that person's attitudes or that person's nature. But here we are suffering. Anger, pain is there. We are reacting and anger is holding us. We are reacting, hurt is holding us. Hurt, for years people can be suffering this hurt. Years. I am hurt by this. For years people suffer. See this. People carry resentment for years and they get into revenge attitudes and destruction, whatnot. Think, anger. These experiences, which are very painful to us, we think that they are coming from others. And that is why we want a change in others. And we never see that we have to learn to change ourselves. All these agonies can never be transcended as long as we want a change in the other person. Impossible. We can die and we can be reborn with the same attitudes. Same attitudes we can be reborn. Because what else will be there when we carry forward? Same thing. What else can we carry? What luggage is packed here mentally, same thing will be unpacked there. What we pack emotionally, we unpack there. What we pack intellectually, we unpack there. What we pack spiritually, we unpack there. What we pack physically by doing good deeds and right dharma, right punya, we unpack similar body there. It depends. Today in some newspaper it was a very interesting thing that a 4-year-old boy suddenly recollected his past birth and then told to the parents that I was born in another village few miles away. And then he told that name of that earlier person who died 9 years ago in an accident. I died 9 years ago in an accident, that boy told. And then I have a wife and 3 children. I have to go and then take care of them. Take me there. The father is surprised. There a 4-year-old boy telling he has a wife and 3 children. Physically impossible, of course. And says 9 years back I died in an accident. And he tells his name, address, village, everything. So what to do? Then they thought something happened, some wrong thing happened, something. That's how people, depending upon their level of understanding only there. What to do? So still they have got so much of doubt and so many near-death experiences say, so many regressive hypnotic experiences say, so many case studies say, so much of scriptural slokas say, so many Mahatmas say, but still we have got very, very different kind of belief systems sometimes. which are very meaningless and sometimes baseless, but still we believe. We believe, that's all. We leave the knowledge and understanding, so believe. So then the parents took that boy. It is one of the leading English dailies. So on the front page, so they took that boy and to that place, and they already sent somebody to find out whether such person lived. They came back within, yes, the such person lived. And then when they took this boy, he is showing the direction to the village, the road, the house, the turn. And then he went and spoke to his wife of previous birth. That wife fainted. Because he went and spoke to the wife, probably he told some intimate things which nobody knows. Of course, the 3 children were not ready to accept this boy as the parent. They don't want to accept. Even though it is true, he is reborn, but they don't want to accept because they don't believe. They don't want to accept. They might have lamented, and then the mother of this boy in previous birth, they contacted the mother. The mother said, yes, exactly 9 years before my son died in an accident. In that particular spot, he told about the spot, which vehicle hit him, everything. Very interesting, isn't it? Same people who might have wept and wept and wept for the loss of the person after 9 years plus 4, 13 years if he goes back, or 9 years he goes back, 9 years before. Meaning his 4 years means 5 years later he is born, so 9 years. They are not ready to accept. That much is our relationship. Remember, good that we don't remember our previous births. Good that we don't remember, then we don't know. Then we will feel, these people are all like that only, they don't accept when you go back. Don't go back. That is the lesson taught. So you go, that's all. Don't go back, go. That is why the mar gaya, ja. आना नहीं फिर मुड़ के. पीछे आया इधर प्रेत बोलेंगे या भूत बोलेंगे या भागेंगे, रिजेक्ट करेंगे. Something will still happen. But such is, but we give so much of importance to our relationship. But yes, we have to give with understanding, with knowledge. If we give, then that is different. So we carry these things, just like the memory. We carry these things. What else will be there? What else is there now? Whatever we have packed, then we have unpacked. That's all. And we are preparing packages for future birth. Packages, nowadays it's all packages, no? Whenever anybody comes as any agent of any other thing, package, this package, that package. We already have so many packages. Why new packages? But this is new package, new package, that's all. Outside new, inside same thing. Package is different. That's all bank people and all, loan package, this package, that package, all package, they call, take loan, take loan. We don't want, but think, we are giving, think. Why? No need to give back, take. But we have to give back, we have to pay back. There is no question of running away from it. So these relationships, when they give us this type of experiences, we feel that the relationship alone is giving. In fact, the truth is, we are creating that experience. We are the cause for it. Others' attitude might be there. Others' behavior might be there. But actually, to undergo that, we are responsible. If you don't want it, we will not undergo that. Of course, it is painful, of course. And only through that we learn. We have to undergo that first. And then we learn. Provided, if we don't go into reactions, we learn. Oh, this is the lesson that has to be learned. This is the teaching. How we can come out of this anger, hurt, resentment, withdrawal, and not feel affected by others' judgmental behavior, cold behavior. How? The answer is to gain a particular type of value system in us. To be alert, one thing. To be aware, second thing. To be calm, third thing. To be watchful, fourth thing. To be compassionate, fifth thing. To become knowledgeable, sixth thing. To gain understanding, seventh thing. 7 things. 7 to heaven. Just think. Aware, alert, calm, watchful. Very important thing. to be watchful. Not watching anything outside, but to be watchful towards ourselves. What is happening with us? How we are responding, how we are reacting, what we are doing at every particular interaction, how we are thinking. Watchful. Are we getting into these grooves of anger, hurt, withdrawal, and resentment? Or are we watchful and then trying to think differently? Compassion. Another one. Knowledge and understanding. 7 things. If we have these things, then it is guaranteed that we don't get into these negativities. And if we want to move away from that relationship, we do it gently, we do it very decently. It's a decent and gentle manner, by creating a very pleasant feeling in everyone around, and then moving on to another thing, another stage in life through understanding. It is not harsh withdrawal or reactive breakaway. It's not like that. It's different, totally different. Lot of maturity and understanding inside. See, there are various things that are taught in this world through various systems of philosophy or various religions and sects. And in one of these sects of philosophy, there is a lot of discussion about Adam and Eve. And that Adam and Eve, they are the first beings on this earth. And in fact, God created world and various other things in the world. Then He brought Adam. And then out of Adam, Eve was created. We heard these stories. So, somebody asked the other, why God created Adam first? Adam is a man and Eve is a woman, right? So why God created Adam first? In fact, one student asked the teacher in a class, teacher, why God created Adam first? The other person said, God wanted to have a rough draft before He made perfection. See, we take a paper and scribble some things, rough. Then afterwards we sit down and then make a fair copy and type it and print it and put it in a cover and file it. That is perfection. Earlier one is a rough draft, rough script. So that person said, because God wanted to make perfection, so He wanted to have a rough draft. That is a man. That is Adam. Perfection, woman, Eve. Interesting, isn't it? And another person had a doubt. What is the advantage of being an Adam? First man, no? What is the advantage of being an Adam? Can anybody tell? And there was a reply. The advantage is, the Eve, who is the wife, can never nag the husband by telling, I had so many proposals. I would have been very happy by marrying any one of those men. I married you and I am suffering. This type of nagging is not there, because Adam is the first man, no? Eve can't complain like that. I had so many of them. No possibility, no chance. So that is the advantage. So Adam will never hear a complaint like that, because nobody was there. What to do? एक ही है तो क्या करेंगे? वही जो है वही सही. And there is another interesting thing connected with this. That is, see, that for particular philosophical sect says, see, the Eve is born out of the rib of the Adam. That's what it is said. Rib of the Adam. It seems, it's only a matter of lighter thing. Adam was there, and the whole world is there. and there are animals, there are trees, and there are various other beings. Adam was interacting with them, because whatever is there, you have to interact with them only. So he was interacting with them. Interacted, acted, enacted, interacted, then got bored. Then looked at God and said, hey, kya hai? I'm a human being, and then you give all the animals and then the trees and then all this, to interact with and all. Give something which is similar to me. Then it seems God said, I was waiting for you to evolve and understand the need. Okay, fine. Now, I will give you an Eve and someone like you. I will give you, who will always give you pleasure. Number one. Who will always take care of you, all of your needs. Number two. And who will serve you always. Always pleasure, always taking care of all needs. Second point. Third point, always serve. And never argue, never nag, never complain, never fight. Abba. Never argue, never nag, never complain, never fight. And whatever you want, whenever you want, you can get it done to that person. It will be a tremendous experience of thrilling pleasure for you. Very inspired. Because God was a perfect sales agent, no? He sold the idea. He told, this is what I want. Then Adam started thinking, wow. Always taking care of the needs, always pleasures, and then everything that we want, anyway, anytime. No complaint, no nagging, no fight. All happiness, all thrills. And then God said, but I have no other material to make that. I have to take out some material from you, that is the body, from you. So for this, I need 2 ribs, 2 toes, 2 fingers. Seems God said, I need 2 ribs, 2 toes, 2 fingers. Are you ready? God asked Adam. Adam said, that is a lot more. That is too much. That is too much of asking. 2 toes, 2 fingers, 2 ribs? No. Then it seems Adam decided with his own wisdom, what can I get for 1 rib? Whatever we have now, it is because of that. Nagging, fighting, complaining, asking this and then not really taking care of everything. Whatever a person feels now, it is all because of that conjuicy done by the Adam. But had he sacrificed 2, 2, 2, it would have been better. So conjuicy कर दिया, 5 काट दिया, अभी तो काट दे ही काट दे. वहां काटे, यहाँ काटते. That's all. So the bargaining mentality. What happened finally? So, then continue. It seems when after God again met Adam, Adam said, oh, what a terrible thing you have given. All because of you. You are the cause. Because you didn't give me the material, what to do now? Had you given the entire material, it would have been such a nice package. What to do? See, that is how we understand that if we are experiencing anything which is very painful to us, if we want to learn something, we should really treat it as an opportunity to get educated and to get into a school of wisdom and perfection, where there will be all light and all joy and all progress. Progress doesn't come because of aging. It seems somebody understood that he is old. You know when? It seems he placed his hand on the ear and found more hair on the ear than on the head. It seems then he understood that he has grown old. So whatever may be the method, but the actual thing is, when we learn lessons through relationships, that is real growing and real going ahead or moving ahead. So that is why it is said, when we come to experience anger in us, we see anger, we feel hurt, we feel the necessity to withdraw, we feel resentment, then we have to look into ourselves. Something is there, we have to adjust here. Not there. There the person is like that. That is different. If the person changes, that is different. But actually, we have to look into ourselves. Something has to be adjusted here. Sometimes, see, these are relationships where we are involved. Okay, we are involved means lifelong involvement, long-term involvement. But there are certain occasions in our life where we are not involved with people. You go to a mall, a frustrated salesman who is not interested. We expected that the person will show this and show that and show this and show that. We asked, what is that? No, that also you want? What is this attitude? And then, and then we see that and we look at that. Why, that also? Suppose you go to a shop and you want to see something. Suppose you are buying a jewelry and then this is kept in showcase and you see that and okay, he takes out one or she takes out one and then that one and that one and these one and these one and then that one, that also. Now what will be our attitude when we see? Immediately we feel, we are let down. Something happens inside us. What is it? Salesman. The salesman is frustrated. Now what happens to us? We get frustrated. In that process, either we do a wrong selection, because sometimes people compel, no, you are not taking so much, you saw. Or we get out. We get out of that place with off mood. Why? Because of frustrated salesman. We are not involved with that person at all. It is a temporary interaction, but we carry a long-term frustration. See this? If this is happening in our life, or an ordinary vegetable vendor, something he behaves, we don't like, we carry that. Or we are driving our vehicle and then somebody zooms past. We are disturbed. This fellow, what are they thinking? This fool and pan, put. And then we dash against somebody with that rage. Something happens and somebody else shouts, hey, सीधा देख के चला, क्या कर रहा है तो चला रहा है, सो जा रहा है. We already got disturbed because of somebody zooming past, and then we got disturbed and so we didn't drive properly, and we went almost dashing to somebody's vehicle. That person shouts, दिख रहा है नहीं, and more rage. See what is happening? We get more disturbed. This side also fellow disturbed, that side also fellow. क्या दिख रहा है ना? तुमको क्या मालूम? पता है क्या हुआ? Why should I know? He says. I am concerned about your wrong driving. Why should I bother about somebody's wrong driving? See this type of things. If we come home with more frustration, and people at home are already frustrated because of our presence, we promised something and we came late and all that, and then we are carrying frustration, then what will happen? Frustration and frustration. There will be a call soon to fire station. That's what happens when two people are frustrated and everybody is frustrated, all smoke and fire. What will fire station? What to do? Who are the members of fire station? Neighbors. First they will have nice entertainment and then they will try to calm down, soothe down, tell some valuable pieces of advice which they never follow. Because free saying, you can tell anything and all that. Free audience, you can tell and teach anything now. So then we also tend to think that we learned something. And then they will say, next day, tomorrow we will watch you, how you are. And then because they are watching and now we know that they are watching, had we watched ourselves and had we been watchful to our mind, we would not have allowed others to watch us. Now we know that they are watching. Because they are watching and we are looking at our watch and then the time when they watch and all that. So we act as if we are very comfortable. And then they feel that their suggestion is working. And they are really surprised how it is not working for me and that working for others. And many things that don't work for us seem to work for others because they are acting. And we are surprised and we think that we are good leads and guides, we are leaders and guides. And when we fall into a ditch and make others also fall, this all happens, continuous. This goes on. All in relationships. See what all things happen. So that is why it is said, if we are watchful to ourselves, if we know these little things that happen, we are uninvolved also. Involved means, okay, chalo bhai, involved. But uninvolved also, in such relationships also, we feel so disturbed. That is why it is said, when we recognize and when we realize that our feelings are coming from our own habits, our own beliefs, our own likes, our own dislikes, our own tendencies, our own impressions. Our own impressions, our own tendencies, our own dislikes, our own likes, our own beliefs, our own habits. In Sukshma, Vasanas and Samskaras. But that term might be, traditional term, so all these are very interesting terms. When we recognize that our feelings are coming from our own habits, our own beliefs, our own likes and dislikes, our own tendencies and impressions, and not from others, when we understand this, when we recognize this, then we are on the path of learning and growing and evolving. Learning, growing and evolving. This is a great understanding, a revolutionary change in us, that these feelings are coming from our own habits and beliefs, from within, not from others. When we understand, when we really recognize this, then we are certainly and surely on the path of learning. Not only learning but growing, not only growing but evolving. See that? We have to evolve by taking the help out of these relationships. And relationships are always available all around us. And we are already into many of these relationships. And whenever we feel that we are not actually peaceful, we are not actually very comfortable, instead of thinking that the source of this is the other, if we start thinking that the source of this is ourselves and responsibility lies with us, that is learning. We will see in the course of our discourses what happens if we don't learn, what is not learning, what is the other thing which is present when learning is absent, how we undergo various other types of experiences because of that. It really, it looks as if somebody is talking about ourselves. Somebody is telling something about ourselves, not about anything else. It looks something about ourselves, about nothing else. See, in our relationships, in our interactions, we find faults with others, and others find faults with us. This happens in life. We find fault with others, others find fault with us. That is why sometimes relationships are default relationships. Because we are in fault, so default. And whenever we discover faults in others, they are painful, isn't it? When they have a faulty behavior, they are painful. So, we are creating painful experiences for others because of our faults. Others are creating painful experiences for us because of their faults. But the most important aspect here is we learn from these experiences. Once we change our attitude, instead of suffering, we start learning. Instead of reacting, we start learning. Instead of controlling, we start learning. Controlling others' behavior. That is controlling. That is altogether a different subject. We will take up on one particular day, the whole subject of it. So, instead of suffering, instead of reacting, instead of controlling, if we start learning, then the faults in others create no pain in us anymore. Already we have undergone. But they create more knowledge in us, because we learn from them. Now when we discover a fault in others, we get into rage, we are enraged, and then we suffer, there is a pain, so on and so forth. I never expected you will have this quality, I never expected you will have this type of thing. So we suffer. We tend to experience pain. But if we have the attitude of learning from it, then the pain ends. Because, see, remember, this is a most beautiful thing what we have to understand in relationships. We always want to transcend the situation. If there is a pain, we want to transcend. If there is a difficulty, we want to transcend. If there is a frustration, we want to transcend. If there is some disturbance because of somebody, we want to transcend. Whether it is lifelong partnership or temporary partnership or business relationship or whatever it is, or walking companionship or a friendship from a ship, whatever it is. We want to transcend the situation. And the teaching is, we can never transcend the situation unless we transform ourselves. Transformation of the self gives us the capacity to transcend the situation. Everything is a situation in life. All of our relationships create situations. Some are acceptable, some are not acceptable. Some are very, very painful. But there are situations. But we want to transcend them. We don't know how to transcend. The only way to transcend these situations is transformation of the self. And this transformation happens only through knowledge and wisdom. And that is what we are trying to gain in these few days which are with us. That's why this is a different school of learning. We learn in a different school, that is relationships. And they are always all around us. So let us see what all things are there for us to learn. Learning through relationships. Harihi Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ।